Awesome, there we go. As soon as we go live, my whole screen goes black. I love it when things go perfectly according to plan on live. But welcome everybody to LFG. This is the show where we get a party and we learn about game making. And today we have some very incredible, awesome guests, the creators and the minds behind Boti Byteland Overclocked. Part of what makes this game so special in particular about being on today is because, first of all, y'all launched today, which is huge. Congratulations on that, on being able to actually get it pushed out and launched. That's a huge achievement.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
It's really really a great milestone for us. So we are
Yeah.
really excited today.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm very excited to get in here and play it and get to see what y'all have worked so hard on. But a little bit of background for everyone who's watching as well. One thing in particular that is very, very cool about this project is y'all started as a MegaJam entry previously, right? And you went and then turned it into the full-fledged game that we're going to see today.
Yeah, it was back then in 2021. We took a part in a Epic MegaJam, and our topic back then it was, if I could remember, running out of space. And basically, with that idea, we come for design of Boti at start. So maybe you can, Robert, tell something more about this.
Ye- Yeah, so as Cornelia has mentioned, the topic was running out of space. So which wasn't maybe the like the most original approach to the topic, but we kind of instantly thought about like the space on the computer. And as
Yeah.
we were like thinking about the topic, we kind of realized that each one of us, when we are younger, especially, like imagine that, for example, like computers, there live a little robots that do the work, and that's
Yeah.
how every electronics works, basically. As you probably know,
Or
there are
like
little robots inside.
how motherboard can be seen as a city, you know, as a micro scale.
Yeah, how like those components kind of like reflects real-time cities, like especially motherboards, etc. So with that in mind, we kind of created the idea of a little bot that is responsible for moving data around the PC. Uh,
A little data
yeah,
courier.
so he's like a data courier, and he has to collect all the data and basically store it into safe place. Like our Game Jam 8 entry was called just Boti Boy. It was more arcade-ish approach to the platformer, as the game jams have their rights. There is like the limited amount of time, etc. So it was like a more arcade-ish approach to platformer. We kind of like focused more just like on this aspect of collecting data. So Boti had to collect data that was appearing around the level and basically save it from overflowing the system by uploading it to basically a cloud, which is kind of abstract, but the faster you were collecting the data, the longer your playtime was. So a really skillful player could play for a few minutes more than like a less skilled player. So we were really happy how like this whole game mode turned out, because it kind of reflected on the better you play, the really you see the impact on your score, on your final score in a game. So
Right.
yeah, that was the origins of Boti. And uh, then as it was received really well, especially on like the visual side of Boti, because we also managed to get an award for like the envisionary environments, because yeah, so as we have managed to kind of like get people with this idea and they liked it, we kind of also like the idea of this like the whole concept of this robot. And as the time went on and we managed to like score the victory, we kind of wanted to do something more with that idea of the game. So we started to work on our Boti Byteland Overclocked, which is like a full 3D platformer.
Yeah, which is
So
awesome. I'm glad that it kind of came together. I'm excited to dig more into that journey of how it changed a little bit from that original concept that you had for it into what it is now.
Mm, Basically, we wanted to kind of think about something more than we presented on the game jam, because we just didn't want to. We liked the idea, but we were thinking that Boti can be a little bit more than just that small game jam submission. And basically, we start to think and had a little brainstorm with our core team members, and we were figuring out what to do with this game and which way it will be the best. And for us, the most obvious was to kind of make stylized platformer based on the story, but we also didn't want to stay only with stylized platformer. We wanted to make it as multiplayer and have some cool new gameplay features than regular platformer. But we also stay with idea of data courier inside of the computer, because it's perfectly match our let's say idea for whole setting. And of course Boti kind of changed, because back then, the design was made in a 5 minutes sketching on the paper, and later bring back to life in around a day or less, whole character with rigs and some of the textures, etc. But currently he have kind of more distinct, I guess, design. Yeah. And yeah, then we kind of gather our crew. With time, there was like some more and more of us. Currently, we are around 15 people who is working on full game. But at start, it wasn't so easy, because we were still working part time on this. Our just usually working only in our free time, because we still had some of our regular jobs, of course. But with some time, we was able to create a company and to kind of make it work.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
and yeah.
Go ahead, Robert. What were you saying?
yeah, because I kind of wanted to build up on that, because with kind of this like whole joy or excitement, I don't know how to properly like call it, but from the winning of the game jam and how well it turned out, as we were like starting to work on this our idea of this full 3D platformer and how to develop it. It also gave us like a boost of confidence that we can really make it in like a way that will be like enjoyable for people, basically. As at first, as Cornelia has mentioned, we were working on it like basically after hours and doing our regular jobs on during the daytime, and at the nighttime we have become the independent
Yeah.
developers. But as our like kind of appetite for the game grew, we have decided that our core member of 5 people may not deliver like this title in the scale that we would like it to be, like to grow, because we imagine that Boti kind of deserves a little bit more love that 5 of us can provide. We started to look for some partner that could like invest in us, so we could basically get more team members to work on the project. And fortunately, we have found one. And then we have managed to find really astonishing people to help us work on the project. they did amazing job as you can see on the game, and we are really happy how it turned out and how we managed to get all the team members to participate in the project.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a cool story, and it feels like as I was telling both of you before we came on live here, it feels like a very full circle moment of it being something that was made out of MegaJam. It's releasing today on the
It's
week of
like, yeah, it's
MegaJam
all
this year.
connecting.
Yeah, full
Yeah,
circle.
yeah,
Which this
yeah.
wasn't planned, by
And
the way,
the
everyone.
best
That
part of
wasn't
it,
planned. It
yeah,
just
it
happened.
wasn't planned. we wanted, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had some other
It's
ideas
awesome.
for the premiere of date, but finally we choose this day. So
But the
It was
universe
fate.
has already decided. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It was decided long before we were choosing. So
Yeah.
Exactly. Awesome. I have a ton of other questions that I have for y'all, but I figure I could toss those your way while we actually play through the game proper itself. So if you're up for it, I'm ready to dive in if you are.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Let me just get a little situated here. We're going to do things a tiny bit different today, everyone. So you are going to be watching Nell's screen here because she's going to be vastly better at this than me. But I am also going to be playing today. I'm going to be player 2. She's going to be hard carrying me through this whole process.
We will see. We will see.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes. In the meantime, please feel free to, as always, post your questions in chat. If I'm a little bit slow on getting them asked, have some patience with me and my multitasking ability. But we'll get through it. We can do this.
Hey, one. Why so Gabby?
All right, let me get the chats pulled up here, and then we'll be good to go.
So, can you see my screen right now?
Yes, we've got it pulled up and can see what you're doing.
Cool. So, here is our data courier, Boti. His main task, basically, is to collect the files all around the computer. And currently, I skipped the cutscene, so you cannot see it right now. But we are tasked to collect the files and to finish the training. Because we just arrived as fresh update to the system. So in this world, you can find, come, I will show you something. Here, that moving blue pixels, collectibles, are the data. So if you collect the data, after you collect them, it's you can use them for uploading points, so they can unlock you other parts of the level. You can spend them on customization. You can also buy some fresh, cool, awesome upgrades in the hub, and some other stuff that I will show you later. But here, we also, in our game, wanted to have it as interactive as possible, as we can make it. So try to hit everything that you see on your way, like a city bot, because look. These are like little transistors, and we call them city bots. Yeah.
These poor things.
yeah,
like I said, try to hit everything and try to interact with everything, because we kind of wanted to bring the sword more alive, more believable, etc. And after some of the interactions, like here, if you can see, you're getting additional points. So you will really need them later. So have that in mind. But as we playing in multiplayer, our files are like connected. So if I collect the files, you also can use later the files.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me maybe build up on that, because as we wanted to create like this kind of recreational vibe, like this chill gameplay, we have some ways that you can compete with other players, but we kind of didn't want to kind of make one of the players feel mostly left out or like underperforming. So everything the player collects is shared, so you can focus on just having fun in the game.
Yeah. Also, we kind of wanted for people to be also so they can play this game with their kids or the other loved ones who are maybe not the best in the gaming. So if you want to introduce your child into gaming, you can always help him on the way, like to reach some platforms. You can also push him away if he distracts you or something. So yeah, it may be useful later also. This bubble show when I can use my magnetic power on you. So I can push you or pull you to me. Anytime, you can also do it. And except for this, you can of course attack, you have 3-hit combo, you can ground slam, you can also dash. So if there is like a huge gap and you cannot make it without it, you can dash. Or you can also dodge with these enemies, and also it works as attack. With the ground slam, there is like cool little bug which I can show you, because I think it's pretty cool. It's still buggy, but it's changed Boti into like destroying machine. So come here, next to the zip files, and can you use the ground slam?
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry, I messed up. One more
We'll
time.
time it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Oh, yeah, it works. Yeah, I know. Yeah, of course it's intended feature, but it's a little bit too OP sometimes. So.
Yeah, because as we all know, computer system may feature a lot of bugs, so every bug is intentional.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so maybe to tell more about the world as you are guys playing. So the world is like inspired by computer parts, basically, but more in an abstract way, because we wanted to create this fidelity. I know that it's more like a Cornelia's topic to talk about the world, but I just like wanted to mention, as Cornelia said, like for example, like the citizens are inspired by the little condensers, transistors you can find on your motherboard, for example. Most of the stuff is at least in some way corresponding to stuff that is inspired by computer parts. We can also see here like the change in that we talked about in visual aspects of Boti, as now he is like fully capable 3D platformer character, and kind of looks different than his game jam entry, which was more how to say it, simple.
Yeah, simple.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
I love the
upload
style
your
that
files.
it ended up.
Oh, thank you. You just upload the files. You have to put them into encoder like this. So another parts of PC starts to work correctly, because yeah, Boti is data courier, and in whole this world there is a lot of lost data that we just have to clean it up. Just collect it and place it here. Of course, there is not only one upload point. You will find a lot of them on the levels. Like, we doesn't have to get back here always or something. And here, I just receive another buff for Boti. So basically, it allows him to scan environment. So you can kinda see better which assets you can interact, which contains files, which are like, you know, you have to interact with them to progress your way.
This is so cute.
I-
I can't get over it.
Yeah, and Boti is a mute character, so he's basically not talking. He's doing like he's just mumbling sometimes and doing some cute noises. But instead of him, we have two characters who floats around us and are constantly in the talks, and they are commenting everything that we do, that we see, that's happening, meanwhile combat or in other actions. It's 0 and 1.
Yeah,
0
we
is the purple one.
yeah.
1 is that yellow.
Yeah, because as our character is mute, we kind of wanted to give players, because the feeling that we wanted to eliminate is like this feeling of being lost. So we have multiple systems that can help you. As Cornelia showed, for example, this scanning part that basically highlights you interactive elements, data, or enemies. We also have these two followers that are commenting on the world or around us. So, for example, when player approaches a certain spot, they kind of like throw some additional light on that place, so the player can maybe easier understand or find a way if they found it problematic. They also do a lot of banter between themselves, which is kind of nice, and have they have really funny dialogues commenting on the stuff around. So it's nice just to listen to them. But we thought that
that you lose your XP, you can also get it here. Have it back.
See, this
And
was on
here is one
purpose
of
to
our
show
enemy.
how to
Oh, I see.
see,
Yeah.
play it into it here.
Yeah. This is one of our enemy. Basically hits you when you are just too close when he's doing his attack, but currently he's not doing like he's not harmed until he's not doing that attack, and you have to turn him into a pillow so you can jump higher and reach the places that you wasn't able to before.
Oh, a button.
Yeah,
Push
but
it.
Roberto
Be
is talking.
precise. Slam down on it, buddy.
yeah, but I was mostly talking about these followers because they are also our like main one of our main like narrative tools, that they always have some additional things to say. Like, for example, after a cutscene, they will additionally comment on the cutscene or to throw some additional context to the player, and all of that is done to like to make the world as most understandable and as most approachable to the players as we can, basically. Like, it was accidental death.
Yeah.
To show how
that
that
was
works.
purposeful for sure. Yeah, exactly. You know, to show that if you fall in the water, you die.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not a water, it's water cooling system, of course.
Yeah, of course, because there is no water in your
Cooling
computer.
liquid, yeah.
Except falling into the void.
Yeah.
That will hurt.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is amazing. I love this so far. And one of the main things that I am curious about, especially now that we're actually in here and kind of moving around and able to see how it's working, is especially for anyone who might have seen your original MegaJam entry, what do you think are some of the biggest changes just in development overall between where you started and where it is now? In Game Jam, many times you're doing everything really fast, and it's not always best in case of the performance, quality, etc. Because everything kinda supposed to be cool and to be working, and it's supposed to be cool in the small, let's say, amount of not
Large gap
small
ahead.
amount of
Double
game.
jump and dash to clear it. Or double
In
jump and hover. That's
your
slower. So,
planning your scope,
slice
so
it
it's
and enjoy the
kinda
ride.
small, And sometimes from the game jam entry, it's hard to extend it. In case of using the same assets, like master materials, etc. And here we had to redo it from the start because we didn't need that many of textures, that many of materials, shaders, etc. as we have now in our jam submission, of course. So currently we are having like much more, I think also much better quality assets. Like, you know, for example, that like almost, or yeah, I think all of our assets, especially graphic assets from our game, are handcrafted. So like water cooling system that we have here, or the grass shaders, or the plant shaders on the sun that you're working on, we everything wanted to craft by hand, not to kind of buy any ready stuff also. So to move it from the game jam, basically we recreated some of the stuff from the start, like, you know, master shaders, the more important ones, etc.
Yeah, maybe I will also like build
yeah,
because maybe I will build upon that, because as you probably know, the game jam has its own rights because of the limited time frame. When you are trying to finish the game in the scope you have planned, which usually the scope is really small because you have, for in case of the Epic MegaJam, we had like a 1 week. So yeah, so you have to like really plan out what you are doing, etc. And as we wanted to make it into like this bigger project, we kind of moved away from this like intense, kind of small and contained gameplay, because but I also mean like the gameplay wise. I also mean like gameplay wise, because like this game mode on Game Jam basically offered a lot of fun. So we even caught ourselves like playing it a lot of times afterwards and during the Game Jam, but it wasn't really like enough to justify like the whole game. So as we were planning out the project and designing stuff on what to do and up to what scale, we gradually moved away from the game jam initial idea and move more towards this narrative-driven, full regular 3D platformer, kind of, so to speak, with this our additional mechanics and flavors we wanted to add, and that is like a process like you may not like, especially if you are really like attached to stuff you have already done, but it's really necessary to adjust the scale of the project basically and adjust like the contents of the game in order to like make it like a full project basically.
Look at this slowdown.
Yeah, so we basically changed the main character, which we already mentioned, but we also kind of changed approach of the world building at all, because we on the game jam submission really stick a lot to the theme of hard surfaces. But we were thinking that maybe to use only the hard surface element in our game can be a little bit too heavy, so we kind of lighten it up with more abstract approach to stylized world of the computer. So here, even if we are moving around the how it's called in English, transistors, even if we are moving around the fans next to cooling system, etc., everything have its own like really stylized approach with brighten colors, because the game jam submission was kinda dark. But we also have some darker levels, which and I can show you here on the hub. Oh, I have my cat on my head. So there is also 2 more if you want. You can have it.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Yes.
it's like maybe I will build upon the fact that we have cuts that are placeable on the head in the game and how it's connected to the computer infrastructure. No, but it's like kind of like one example of a feature that is kind of like appearing during your game development, and as
Yeah.
the world to this more stylized, colorful approach, we started to create more. I know that's a simple word, but like cute elements.
And want to
And
make
for
it feel
example,
more alive.
yeah.
All kinds of
So there,
fluffs, city bots, and yeah. So there
yeah.
is a
So
lot
and
of
every
small things like this. After you place your kitty on that stand, you can also pet it. Come. Here is another kitty stand. You can leave it here.
It passes the I
yeah,
can
it's
pet it
like
test.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Because
very
we wanted
important
to make that
feature.
Yeah, because we wanted to make that environments and world more alive, we put here, like, you know, other animals like jellyfishes, like chips, which mean fish,
Oh, detected a
cats,
good
and
joke
all
lately?
other
Even if
creatures
I
that
had,
you
I'm
can
not in the mood.
sometimes interact with, like the crabs. And but like when we put that cat inside the Unreal, we were like, oh my god, let's making something more out of this. I'm sorry, more out of this. And
Yeah.
we were like, maybe let's put him in his head, and maybe let's pet him. And we have some other ideas that we want to also make. Let's see, it's still in progress, but we have some other stuff that will be added maybe later. Like
This is awesome.
turning into a kitty. Yeah, but here is Boti House. Basically, it's his own program that he can, that he can change.
Point in
So
the
he's
vicinity.
basically here, have his folders with upgrades. He can change his durability. I guess I can buy one. Yeah, it works. We have upgrades for scanner, data flow, and we have lottery. So you can test your luck and spend some coins into some kind of skin and furniture for the house. Because Boti can also change his furniture in the house. And here, I don't know if you can see it, down below, under the stairs, there is something like a wardrobe when you can pick up your skin. And currently, I have that data courier skin. So maybe you want to pick one.
Yeah. So as we were like building upon this idea of this being like this whole narrative platformer, a lot of ideas came up on how to make it like more rewarding to feel for the player to spend more time enjoyably in the game, and so we thought about a lot of systems that could improve basically like attachment to the character, and like the improve this like feeling of being rewarded. So after you finish a level, you always can come back to your hub and unlock some stuff. This can be like this furniture system, or like an additional island in your hub zone that allows you to increase its size and have some additional fun.
Amazing.
So basically we're starting with small hub, but later we can exchange it. Here you can see there is some like places which we can buy later on the game, because some of areas are still locked here. And yeah, you can also always go back to hub with this cannon here.
Hey, Zero, why so quiet? Hey,
But let's maybe move to the level.
Yeah, absolutely. While we're doing that, I think my next question that's still sort of MegaJam related is at what point did you decide that you enjoyed the entry enough that you wanted to make it into a full game? Or did you know beforehand that that was something you were interested in doing?
Previously, before the game jam, we didn't thought about something like this, about running our own full project. So basically, like Robert previously said, it gave us kinda courage to start something, and because we really enjoy to our time on the game jam, but also like we like what we achieve from the game jam, and was pretty hyped after we won. We were like, yeah, it was for us something cool to still keep working, because after we go back from work, we were like, let's maybe add something to it. Maybe let's try the shader. Maybe let's make it like this. And with the progression, there was a lot of stuff like this that we wanted to add or wanted to kind of change from the original idea. But basically, the idea to progress it was after the game jam, before we like won it. So after our submission, basically, we were like, "Oh my god, it was pretty cool."
It seems to have everybody excited.
Yeah, so at first there was those thoughts basically about like improving on what we can done, because there is always, as probably everyone participating in game jams knows, that because of the time, kind of like this rush of finalizing the game, there is a lot of stuff you wanted to do but couldn't do. Maybe there is some stuff you wanted to approach differently. Maybe there are some issues that are really bothering you that you didn't manage to finish on time and you wanted to change. So at first we were thinking more about just like polishing and brushing up what we have created. But the longer we thought about it, the more stuff we thought would be cool to be added, and with having in mind that we managed to do something that was really enjoyable, we got this feeling that if we did something more with that than just like improving on this small scale stuff, it could be something that just turns out really well. So it's not like it was an immediate decision after the game jam to just so let's move it to a full project, because as probably everybody is like aware, it's quite a shift to move from doing a game jam and then to making some stuff in your game after the work, as basically a side project, than to move from that to really a full-scale development. It's like
we also spent some time to think about this, because we didn't want to start it and don't end it. Like, we didn't want to commit ourselves into making standalone the game and to kind of not finish it, of course. Like, because jam is pretty cool, but it takes like a week or 10 days or something, sometimes a weekend, and it's not that huge time-consuming event as it will be as making a game for a half year, and nothing will be out of it. So we also, first idea was, let's make something more from it. Let's make it more than only jam submission. But later we just give ourselves some time to think how to approach it, so we won't, let's say, lose interest, or because don't let's say how to call. I guess I'm kind of lost right now because I still focus on the game and yeah.
Exactly.
It's hard. It's hard to play and answer questions. I
Yeah.
definitely have y'all doing hard mode right now.
Why?
Yeah.
It's big and it's
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but like,
basically,
right in the middle
yeah,
of everything, so it must be important.
that hype
Watertight
feed us
reasoning.
for a lot of time, and after
If
some
you
time
got
that
any
we
better
were like,
ideas,
okay,
I'm
calm
listening.
down, let's
Let's
think
try to
about
find a way
this.
up
We
there.
were like still totally hyped to make it, and to make it not only
What's the matter with these work bots?
yeah,
Anything
like
to do?
Robert said,
Let's
it
restart this
makes
generator
something
body.
more out of it.
Try following me.
And
We should help
to
the
me,
work bots first.
personally, the most
Where's the
important
robot? Not a
difference
problem.
also from the jam submission is even if in jam submission I wanted to make that world that we created as
Does that panel
somebody
look
who's
out of
taking care of art there.
There's been another update.
I wanted to make that
All
world
changes,
alive.
they add up, and each
And
one makes me feel older.
in
No
jam
bot will be
submission,
deprecated,
I was
they say.
focusing a
I
lot
suppose it's
of the
fine,
movement
as
of
long
the
as it improves
environment,
performance.
of the obstacles, etc.
Oh,
But it
I got it. The system
still
is
was
pausing
movement.
for updates.
It wasn't
That's why some of the bots here
like
are
living
updating.
world.
Yeah.
And here,
every bot knows that.
I
You
believe
don't have
we
to pretend
kinda
to know everything, Zero.
have
That's it, buddy. What next?
hit better approach in it. Also because, yeah, we spent like 1.5 years or more on it, of course.
Right.
But yeah,
Definitely.
but definitely it was a
Through,
huge kickoff for us, and
Yeah. That's exciting to hear. For anyone who might be participating in this year's MegaJam, do you have any advice that you would give any other teams that are looking into making a submission, since you lived through the process and came out successful?
Okay,
Yeah.
so I have prepared
Don't
like
forget to sleep
multiple
well.
page sheets. Yeah, yeah, it's really important to like kind of maintain this.
Yeah,
like
to take some
sleep,
rest,
basically.
to have some breaks.
To have some breaks, rest, because the game jam gives you this feeling of as everything is rushed and like time bound, so to speak. You have this
And you
feeling
want
that
to
okay, so
implement everything, have some
yeah,
amazing, awesome ideas, and you want to like push them all, but you are still time limited, and you have to also pick wisely what you want to show on the game jam.
yeah,
submission.
that is another thing, but I think we wanted to start with this note that remember that you need sleep and
Yeah.
that you will perform better if you are like
Exactly.
not totally sleeping on your keyboard or etc. But as Cornelia has mentioned, I think like the most important part of game jam is planning and like knowing your capabilities of what you can do in what amount of time, because you always want to do something like it's the best and impressive for everyone, but you have to really think if I can make it, basically. And sometimes you have to realize that you won't be able to fit everything you had in your mind, so maybe it's better to plan out just in case on what you can do if you don't manage to finish everything on your time. So maybe if you are like planning some features, maybe mark some of your ideas as optional or like nice to have, like focus on that core of the game that you know is necessary for your idea, but be prepared for like cutting down or maybe if you are performing better than you expected, like adding some stuff later on polishing, but this like this main thought process that you analyze what you can do and in what time is like the most important part of the game jam. I think we basically spent like the whole first day on planning out what we could do, what would be the most important. Concepting, and for example, as we used as our base the third person template, so there is like this basic movement, etc. So maybe let's focus on improving that than more than like coming up with completely new system, etc. So there is like a surprising
Unless
amount
you want
of
to.
yeah, but there is like the surprising amount of just thinking about what you can do. I mean, another like point of game jams, I think, is like worth mentioning that it's really great opportunity to learn new stuff because you are really motivated to maybe check out this tutorial on stuff you always wanted to implement, but you didn't really know had possibility to put it somewhere, etc. And as you are this time pressured, it gives you great boost in learning stuff. I myself have learned quite a lot like during the game jam because of the fact that you just have to like take a look and okay, so I have to do this. It gives you this additional boost, which is really nice.
That seemed to work.
Yeah.
Compared to like working, because we used to work in other companies, game dev companies. Here on Game Jam, you basically are responsible for everything. Even if you're working together with team, you have to work really, really close on, because it's like really not that much amount of time, and like information flow is also really important. For the people who want to take part in next Epic MegaJam, I think it's also nice to kind of record your progress, like record your game jam progress, because it may be
this is
useful later.
Yeah, I mean, we have skipped that, and we were really disappointed that we did not kind of record how we are progressing, because it's like also a great way to keep you motivating in like observing how much you have achieved in what amount of time, because probably like most of the game jam participants, we also like checked out other projects and were like really like astonished by stuff that people can do in basically a 1 week.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, especially like there was like 2 games that I can't remember right now the title, but there was a game with clay animated characters. It was pretty amazing. And
it was
game,
like
it was
I just wanted to like this game was like very memorable because of like the complete unique approach to animation and visual style. That
Definitely. Oh
yeah,
man,
and second
I feel like I'm gonna
submission.
Mess
I can help you. The second submission, which was to me really like memorable, it was Rat Way Out. If I could remember, oh, I failed it.
I'm glad we've got you backed up.
You too?
Yeah, me too.
But don't worry. Like, let's maybe I will right now switch the topic for a moment. I will get back to it in a second. But I wanted to show you a pretty cool mechanic, because to me personally it's my favorite mechanic from our game currently. It's our sliding, and we love it how it turned out. Basically it's like regular sliding, but here kinda like in Guitar Hero you have to collect the notes and you create the music when you like write through them. So you have to collect the notes and get a perfect score, so you can get a reward. So, are you ready?
I have to be.
Okay. Okay. So let's go.
So this is like one of the features that when we are like designing stuff, we wanted to add like a little twists on them, like to make them more memorable, etc. Because of course there is a lot of stuff that already appeared in other games, because like games are now really big. There is a lot of games, but we wanted to like give this like our special touch. So we decided on the sliding being like a musical challenge where you have to collect notes in order to get additional trophies, like maybe some secret rewards if you manage to complete every sliding on each level by 100%. But by adding those like small chunks, we kind of wanted to make this project more of our own. For example, like we have this magnetism, which is later on used as a form of interaction with environment. But we also thought, okay, so maybe we also can affect other players. So we kind of wanted to make like each of the features to have this as much as this fun or like this twist that could be fun as possible.
Yeah, I can definitely confirm that the entire game so far has very much felt like a co-op experience. Like this was definitely made to be played with a friend.
Yes, this is like was our main premise. I know that the game, because of like how we imagined it, is doesn't really have like this great learning curve, like because we wanted to make it an approachable experience for like everyone. As Konya has mentioned, that for example you have younger cousin that came and you have to like take care for him or for them for like few minutes, sorry, seconds, and you want them to like have something to do, have something enjoyable. They can just like pick up the game because of how we wanted to approach it in like the most easy to learn way possible. Like there is like this turned on by default like a feature that kinda eases out the jumping distances, that you don't have to really be that precise, because Boti sometimes will climb up a little bit if you miss by a small amount, etc. So this is like this our main thought, that if someone is enjoying this in co-op, what happens if the second player is not like a master of video games, and we want to share that experience of this kind of recreational platformer with the second person.
Yeah, if I can get back to previous topic about that game jam submissions, etc. I think it's really cool to record your progress, because a lot of game jam submission which was posted on community on Discord, it was so awesome, and we were like, oh my god, we just want to see this, oh we're sure that we win, etc. Especially that one game which was called Ratway Out, because it was really great and it had really nice approach, not only in making, of course this game was pretty fun, etc., but I really like I'm charmed with the progress that they show. They also recorded the video, etc. And there was some other people who also did it, and we were like, oh, we didn't. But it's
it's also a great way, I think, because you can see how other people are approaching this planning stage, basically, because they are doing later on, they are working on the stuff according to their plan. So if you have like your own kind of dev vlogs, so to speak, or recordings of your progress, or some like materials that you can always learn upon, not only your experience from Game Jam, but also you can compare it maybe with others, and as you have like your stuff recorded or like memorized, I don't know if recorded is the best word, but you probably get me, that you can when you, for example, will be preparing for the next Game Jam, you can compare how your progress was going, on what you have focused, and maybe on what other people has focused, and it's like having this memories digitalized of how you were developing the project helps you in learning on what to improve, especially in this like the most important part, which is planning. And probably everyone can agree that it, for example, really well transfers into like work experience, etc., because it's a great way to see how well you are in estimating stuff that you can do in what amount of time. Yeah, and basically it's useful really in every field, not only maybe game dev if you are from like another field, but it is a skill that is like really easily improved during the game jams, and the recorded materials probably help a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And about that learning, it's pretty cool. Like to me, I start to work on Niagara when we were making our game jam submission, and it was almost like, let's say, it wasn't precisely my first time when I opened Niagara editor, but it was like real first time, like almost real, like first time when I wanted to create something myself there. And it was pretty cool because I start to learn and work later. Oh, I died. I start to later work more and more with that Niagara because I was so hyped after the game jam also. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
like the
useful, not only for the game jams, but definitely for the future of your like personal progression.
Yeah, I think I can even like build upon that because, for example, I had previous work experience in working in different engine, which was Unity, and I had a little to basically like really little experience with Unreal Engine. So like it's also the fact that Unreal Engine is also has like really good learning curve. Like it's easy to get into, but like the fact that the game jam keeps you motivated to learn stuff, it really builds upon, because I basically after the game jam moved completely to Unreal, for example, because I really liked what I learned, and that I knew that I can like build upon that. We also had other team members, for example, that learned a lot of stuff. For example, we had like Łukasz, his game designer, who also had a little experience with Unreal, and he basically learned a lot, like just by this having this focus of what Kone has mentioned, that there is this focus that you want to use it, you want to learn it, and it really helps in like understanding that and having this will to later on maybe build upon it, and like from this basic usage of like this Niagara is like good example of like doing some basic stuff. You have this like motivation to keep improving on that stuff you have improved on the game jam, because that was, you learned a lot, and maybe you can learn a lot more afterwards, after the game jam is finished.
Yeah, absolutely. How much experience would you say you had just with developing in general before you took on the MegaJam?
Oh, I had around 3 years, I guess, or 4, something like this. I'm sorry, I just pressed the button. I wanted to leave it for you, but
no, you're good.
Okay.
I understand.
Yeah,
it's a large
about...
button. How do you not?
Yeah. I had around like 4 years or something. Robert had around 2?
Less. Yes, I think even less. But yeah, our team was kind of diverse in skill, especially in terms of skill in Unreal Engine, because that was the engine that is used there, which is like a big factor I think I have to mention, because for example, Cornelia had experience in working in Unreal, and she was pretty, I don't know if this is a good word in English, fluent in it. And we also had like Kuba, who is programmer, and he has also great experience in working in Unreal Engine, like a few years. But for example, me, as I have mentioned, I didn't use a lot of Unreal Engine, and I didn't really have that much of game making experience. So this was like a great opportunity for me to learn a lot of new stuff. And we had like members that, like for example, like our game designer Łukasz, who didn't have that much experience in working in Unreal Engine, So he also had to learn. We also had we had Marcin, who was responsible for the audio side of the project. He had some experience in Unreal, but had to use a lot of new stuff. For example, we decided to use like this meta sound system that was introduced as we have started to work on the project. So so our experience varied. For some, it was like a few solid years of experience. For others, it was way less.
I'm gonna get you.
Hey.
Oh, you dashed.
I thought you will say, "I wanna catch
Oh,
you."
you
And
have
then
to be
push
careful.
to
You have to
the...
be careful. Okay. Oof. Because the floor is falling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
I maybe
it's
like
interesting to hear that the team was very varied in the amount of experience that it had when you came into it.
I think that for some people it may be like scary if you don't have like much of technical skills in terms of like using, for example, the engine or whatnot, and that may be something that is stopping you from participating in game jam. And I personally, from like my own experience, I think that like especially Unreal is enough easy to learn that with right teammates that already, for example, knew something, you can really learn quite a lot fast and get your ideas inside the game in a way that you will notice that you are not only like making a great project that has your stuff in it, but also that you are really getting an experience that for example may prove useful for you. But I think like it's like worth mentioning that you don't really have to be like the master of the engine in order to participate in game jams, because you can always learn new stuff. You can try out some there's a lot of great tutorials for Unreal out on YouTube. There is a lot of creators that are doing stuff. There is a lot of official materials. And if you, for example, have someone in your team that already has some experience, it is a great moment to exchange that experience and exchange this knowledge so you can improve.
What? Tunnel is missing?
And yeah, about
Missing?
game
Oh,
jams.
breaking news.
You're ah
Oh, because there is like this
yeah.
whole plot that we are just talking over, but the kernel, our like task manager that we saw at the tutorial, has gone missing after the explosion at the reactor, and now we have to find him. And who's better to find the missing bot than the detective Column bot himself? And so now we have to travel to a place where we can find him, so he can aid us in finding the missing task manager.
This is awesome.
Didn't you see that coming, Boti?
So especially
Yeah,
since
that
y'all
showed
went into the
them.
MegaJam with a
That's
team
over.
who you kept up with afterwards to make this finalized version of the game, do you recommend doing that, like putting together a team for the MegaJam approaching it?
If I could you like rephrase it, because do we recommend like creating a team for MegaJam and then building upon it?
Yeah, like would you recommend
Yeah,
trying to put together a
especially
team
in
beforehand?
yeah, because
maybe
our team was created from people from really different fields. So we had a programmer, we had a designer, level designer, sound guy, and me for art. So basically, for us, it was really cool because yeah, then all of us can take care of different field, let's say. So even if we are working together, we had some masters on their own, let's say. Yeah, and we was just able to progress it and yeah, to form, because we had basically like in small scope,
I'm glad
really
that's over.
cool yeah, team. It depends on the people that you have, because sometimes you don't need like art in your team, or you can try to take care of on your own
We're not here as
of
fan
programming,
bots. We need
but
Overclocking, the
we had
broken
pretty
RAM
cool
sticks,
combo,
the firewall
and
going
that's
down,
why we
the
stay
influx
as a
of
team
viruses.
later.
Could all these events be connected?
Yeah,
So
I
it
mean,
really depends
I
on your team.
Right now, we need
yeah, but I
everybody's
think like the
cooperation.
most thought
Avoid
is like
leaving your component
it's
wherever
better.
possible.
I think
And
it's
if you encounter
to
a
create a
virus,
team beforehand,
not
like
approach it.
to know each other, to know what your teammates can do, what they can help you with, and it really smoothens out the process. I imagine that it is also, of course, possible to just like at the start of the game jam, like the countdown goes to 0, and you are like, okay, so I have to. Okay, so can you join me, etc. It's also possible, like finding like the people at the last moment. But I think it's easier if you manage to collect a team that you like grouped before, so you know each other, you know what you can do. We were, as Cornelia has mentioned, lucky enough that we covered a different fields of specialization. Like each one of us did something else, so that really helps. But it's not necessary, of course. It all depends on the project coordination. Of course, there are some some elements you will have to tackle without experience. For example, I myself have for the first time rigged a character for the game jam, which was astonishing experience with YouTube on one screen and a Blender on another screen. It was it
And
was
we
unforgettable.
later created, we later created animation inside the Unreal. So, but
Yeah, but
we
but
was never taking care of animation before, so it was so like clunky, but it had some cute feeling
These
in
RAM
that
sticks of
clunkiness.
ours are amazing structures.
but at least
Dan
from
and
that
I
experience, I
keep
know that
box
I
here
couldn't be an
when we
animator,
get by for the summer
and
months.
it is always something worth worth knowing that
It
you
was all we
this may
needed
not
for
be
the
the field
jump.
for you.
Come
Uh,
here.
Yeah.
I want to show you
but
something.
yeah, but yeah, collecting
Because
the
I
team
just
that
completed the task. I'm sorry, I
yes,
just
because
need to mention about the kitty house. Because we just collected the house, placed them here, and because of this guy opens the door for us, and here we can find some work of kitties.
yeah,
And the kitties
because there is like
yeah.
the crazy
And
cat
some
lady
other
has
secrets.
opened her house for me. Yeah, because
me.
there is like this interactivity around the world is also something we wanted to have, also in form of like there is like an NPC that before you complete the quest she's like talking because we don't really, this is a robot, so they are talking about how they cannot find their cats. So, and you see that there are those three elements that you can place a cat upon. So maybe if you will explore the level around you and find the cats and bring back them to that character, maybe they will have something special for you or some other interaction. Like, or for example, if someone is hiding behind a barricade from enemies, from worms that are appearing, if you destroy their barricade, maybe they will get scared and run away, or maybe they will change the dialogue or something like that. But we wanted to have like as much of it inside the project. Of course, as in Game Jam, as you are developing the game, you have to think about the scope. So you also always have some ideas that you could add, but you don't really have that infinite amount of time to just work on stuff. You just have to like limit yourself sometimes. But you also have like we have also touched the topic of like is it like always great to like move from this like game jam project with the team that you worked into full project? I think it really depends, and this is like I think it requires even more planning and thinking from you than like the first day of game jam, because you really need to think that For example, your pipeline worked like great for a week project, but can you like maintain it for like full game, etc. So I don't really think it's that simple. Question. It's not like a simple question. If like for example your game jam was successful, should you move it to a full-scale project? Because that is something you have to answer on your own. If you want to do this, if you can do this, there is like a lot of factors, and this is like really big question. We were like pretty convinced that, for example, we can make it, and we have some ideas that we want to shape into a project. But maybe like it's not for you, or maybe it's not like for this project, or maybe you did like a game jam that was extremely well received and everyone liked it, but you don't really like it. So maybe building upon that isn't the best idea. You really have to think like yourself that even if maybe you were successful, is it like something you want to build upon? Is this that? Because there will be a lot of time later on that you will have to work on that. Like it will take time, so you will have to know, do you have that much time, etc., etc. So it's really
Yeah,
complicated.
because even if you have like a 10-week project, you won't be able to deliver it in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something like this. It will take more time. It will take a lot of testing. It will take a lot of bug fixing, optimization, and all other processes. Because yeah, you have to estimate that definitely it won't be like 2 months or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
weeks.
especially if this like especially like if after game jam you might not have like the great game dev experience, and you are like planning out the game, and you are like pretty sure, okay, so we can finish that in 3 months, we will just add this. Your estimations are probably wrong. Like it takes a lot of thinking about each of the elements to really estimate of how long stuff will take. So when you are like thinking about transitioning from this game jam to full project, you really like, for example, when you are calculating the time, you can pretty much double it probably if you don't have much experience in estimating the time for the project, and you have to keep that in mind, that it's like probably a lot of time, a big amount of time that the project will take. So yeah, it's like the planning phase is crucial if you want to decide if you want to move with the project.
Definitely, yeah. And I do think it is worth noting that not every single MegaJam project needs to be more than a MegaJam project, right? Like sometimes it is best to get the experience of it and make something and have learned something through that process, and then take what you learned from that and move on to other projects and utilize what you had learned instead of trying to bring the actual project along.
Yeah, I think like the Boti is kind of good example, because like the game jam version is completely different game mode. It has completely different like basis on which the gameplay is built upon. There are also, of course, like crossing elements. So there is like this word inside the computer. There is this stylized word with data courier, etc., etc. But gameplay-wise, there is a lot of elements that had to be changed because the game jam idea wouldn't really translate that well into like a full project. It would require probably a lot of building upon.
We wanted to have a mode almost the same as in game jam, but we were struggling a lot to fit it to the kinda changed movement design of our character, because we really liked our collectathon, but it turns out it doesn't work in a full scope game.
It's like this idea that you had is, for example, great for like a 15-minute gameplay, because basically game jam submission can be like a 15-minute gameplay loop that is enjoyable, and that's it. But is it enough for this full project? What will you have to add? what will you have to change? For example, for us translating the game jam mode into like the scope experience of collecting files for time, etc., etc., it was turns out to be really like time consuming and resource consuming. So we just have to like move away from it for the time being, at least. But
Maybe it will come back.
it really depends. Yeah, but it really depends on the project you have. But you shouldn't like stick to that you have this like gameplay loop that is great and works amazing for like this 10 minutes, but can you translate it to the full project? Or maybe it's enough and you want to just release a game that is like a replayable short loop because it's engaging enough. I mean, but yeah, not
just
every
wanna have
project
it
published.
Or you
Yeah.
just wanna have it in your portfolio and be happy with a little spark that you have from your game jam?
True. I'm so close to death. I hopped
I
over
can
the
find
crate
some
and I got
hearts for
bombed.
you.
Thank you.
Just give me a moment.
Oh,
But don't worry,
At least
you
now,
will
at
Stop
least now,
moving.
so
at least now, yeah, at least now you have full
I
HP,
will
so
deal with those viruses for you. I will fight for you.
Avenge me.
Okay.
Here we go. I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt the vengeance.
Place is clear. You can come. Here, let's upload files together.
Okay. Well, the door's this way. I'll get there eventually, I promise. There we go. So, what would you say was your favorite part of upgrading from your original MegaJam demo into the full project now? Like, was there any part of that process that stands out as just really memorable, or a moment of like, wow, we've made something incredible out of all of this sort of thing?
Yeah, I guess the amazing thing was, anyway, to me, that ideas that we had built up upon, because we had, like, we at start didn't had one idea for this, of course. We had similar ideas, but we had a lot of different ideas what we can do in that full game, and a lot of really creative one, let's say. And to me, a whole process of thinking about this, designing it, etc., was pretty cool. And
yeah,
the most important for us also was that it's something which is ours. We can make this game as developers who is working in the different companies. We can make it as we really want to, and we can push our boundaries, but still have something which is, yeah, like from the scratch,
Yeah.
let's say, our idea.
Good find, buddy.
yeah. I think for me also this motive. I don't know if it's
Freedom.
like, correctly, but this like freedom of creation, that you are now like responsible for whole of the project, and you have to deliver it basically, because that's what must happen at the end. That you can put all of those your ideas that you had and test them out, because not every idea that is great in your like imagination or brain translates really well into project. But this possibility of bringing your own ideas into this whole game is something like memorable. And I think the moment of releasing a game which is like a bigger project than a 7-day game jam is also very satisfactory if it turns out well, because it's like the culmination of your work that gets sent out to people. And yeah, I think those two. Maybe additionally, like you have to also learn a lot of new stuff when you are like moving from this small scope project into like this full project, because there's a lot of stuff you didn't thought that are needed, for example, to really complete a game, Maybe you forgot that you have to use localization to get the game in different languages, which is also something you have to learn if you never did it before. For example, maybe there is like you have an idea for advanced combat system, so you have to learn how to use ability system in Unreal, etc. There is like a lot of opportunities for you to learn and improve when you are like doing your own project, and
Come,
it
I
is
will
you
show
who
you.
decide.
Come this way. I'm
And
sorry.
you're
I
spoiling
just
this. You are spoiling the secrets.
yeah. I will catch
I
you.
need to
I will
pull
catch
me
you.
up. There we go. No!
Oh, one more time. I will
I
catch you.
immediately fall back off.
Jump,
Okay.
jump. Let's go.
There we go. Teamwork.
Be careful. We have a new skin.
You are spoiling the secrets.
No.
It's exclusive information.
Secret reveal.
Yes, exactly. Secret reveal.
Body. Of course, Body knows. Right, Body?
Oh, that's such a cool skin. I actually really like that
Hey,
one.
hey, it's Columbot! They're trapped in quarantine.
And
We
here,
don't know what the
to
virus is.
still
We'll get them detected.
differ
I don't
to
know if they can hear you.
characters, but also having similar experience in the in case of the skins, we made them like in two different versions. I see here a little bug, but basically, when we have around 50, 40, 50, something like this, skins in game to count. Most of them are on the levels, but some of them we can get through the lottery. And here is Detective
It's an honor
Colombo.
to meet you, Detective. I'm a great admirer. We need help with Miss Bot.
There is a lot of bot puns in the game. Some of them like amazing. Our narrative designer really outdid himself. Like
Yeah.
like when you hear someone saying bot speed with you or something like that, it's like it's amazing. I couldn't even imagine that there can be so much
And the
computer
fun of all
puns
this broken too.
inside the game.
Yeah.
A series of concurrent system changes. Mysterious
But
disappearance
some of them
of
are
high-ranking
actually really
bot.
cool.
It's quite the case.
Yeah, they are.
I'll look into it.
What should we do?
Well, there might be clues in the network adapter, but it's off limits.
I will maybe.
I love his
Get in.
cat.
Yeah.
Flopping around.
Possible.
Amazing.
One of the
Okay.
references for
Meet me
him
by
was
data pin
Inspector
DQ4.
Gadget.
I'll be waiting.
Yeah, he's
I can see it,
loudly,
yeah.
yeah, he's inspired
That
by
is
some of the
great.
inspectors
What
and
an
detectives
honor,
out there. Yeah.
Detective. I'm your
Yeah.
most devoted super fan.
The greatest
Hey,
one.
that's not what I said, Miss
Oh,
Infobot.
amazing. So I'm curious because I know we've talked about how you have to oh this poor guy holding the whole thing up himself.
Yes.
Yeah, some city bots don't have easy life inside the computer.
But they lack the practical know-how. that used to
Yeah,
be
some
evident.
are
Especially you can see that in the last level when they have to
Hard
leave
shop.
Would
in
they know how
a
to
power
fix it?
supply,
I wonder.
and basically
Yeah.
there is like electric storm all around them all the time, and they are just don't minding
Look
it.
at those lights in there.
Yeah, just living
Let's
their
check it
life.
out.
We don't have
the
time
day-to-day,
to
Here
go
we
you
have a
know?
little
But
You
secret.
away one of these days.
I'm so scared.
Like, I won't spoil it. Choose wisely.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You have to hit it. You have to hit it.
Okay. You just said
Yes.
oh no, so I was scared. Alright, it's fine.
Good job.
Okay. Had me doubting myself.
Yeah, and
I
we
know
have
that
some
talked about how
treasures.
Open it.
Nice. It's important to pare down, of course, for the MegaJam and all that. But I'm curious if there were any ideas that you had for the original that you had to pare down. That then, when your team decided to make this into a full game, that you were like, all right, now we can do this.
Yeah.
You can take them.
Definitely with some of
like some cool ideas you had,
Yeah.
and otherwise you could forget. But not as we have like talked before, not everything translates always like properly.
Speaking of which,
Not everything is like 100% reusable. So you just sometimes you just have to let go of some ideas. But there is a lot of stuff that we came up during the game jam that turned out that was either used in the game, the full game, or was used as like a base or like a prototype idea, so to speak, like the seed of thought, like that, for a mechanic or like an object or an interaction that is somewhere here.
Yeah, like a burning. We
Yeah.
was
For example,
thinking about
for
adding some damage and enemies on the game jam, and we had like idea for some image types, but we couldn't
Yeah.
make it because of the time limit. And later we were like, okay, we have to make it.
Yeah, as we were kind of lucky in planning out the game, that we had a lot of elements that were kind of like, I don't know if it's the best word, but like modular. So if we use them, it's great, but if we don't use them, we still have our game. And for example, some of that were like the image types, because we wanted like to make the environment more dangerous. And we wanted to make it maybe via different like types that do different things to the character. And this is the idea that we straightforward translated into this game, because if you are just hit, you just lose HP. But if, for example, a fire has burnt you, it kinda sets you on, maybe not on fire, but it kinda hits you up for a second. So Boti has to cool off, and he cannot stop. They cannot stop for a moment. So you have to keep navigating the character and cannot stop until the bot is cooled down. Or if you like jump into something electric, it will stun you for a moment. And this is the idea that we strictly translated from the game jam.
That's awesome. Actually, I really.
There are some mechanics
It's like
in the game that
physics.
can be really not only that is like the prime example of how real physics works, but there is a lot of elements in the game when you can kind of annoy the second player. But we found that amusing, that you can sometimes maybe not be of help, but like sometimes, for example, when they are traversing on that platform that they were pushing, maybe you just reset it once again,
Or you
so
just...
they will have to do all the.
Oh yeah, because here there is reset button, and you can stay on this platform,
use
and
it.
I can just jump on it constantly. Yet you will like.
Yeah, but
See, I mean, I know the mechanics were built for helping, but I would spend
Yeah, like
probably 80% of my time just trolling friends like that.
yes, exactly.
yeah, it
When we
especially
are
works
testing
really
it,
well.
we all the time do.
Yeah, it really works. It really works well when you are like helping all the time, and then at the right moment, you turn to the evil side
Yeah, I just
and
tried
just throw
to
them off the
help
cliff.
you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they are not
Betrayal.
expecting that. Yeah, the betrayals
And
are the best.
long live the
Steve.
cliff moment.
Yeah.
And be careful for the slams. But yeah, you can grand slam, so they will be gone. Because
cute,
some of
though.
the data is kind of glitchy. So some of the zip files are having some troubles. Here again, that's how physics works.
I love that. There's some really fun mechanics that you are able to and kind of puzzle. Man, I totally lost how I wanted to phrase that. But there's some fun mechanics that you can put together with the tools that you've given the players here.
Yeah, and there is like much more of them later on the game because yeah, I'm not sure if you can reach the latest levels. Like definitely we won't be able to, but
It will be the
but
longest
I
screen you will
think
have.
yeah. But I think we can show on level 3 some zip lines also because they are also cool. But yeah, we later on the game like extend that magnetic power and have better abilities
Stay away
related
from
to
those
it.
things, Boti.
But here it was just a quick tutorial how to use it, and we can go to level 3. To start at level 3.
I love the cape on this skin, by the way.
Oh yeah.
It's probably my
Never
favorite one so
adapter.
far.
Think about all that data coming in from outside. Try thinking about our task. We might
Yeah,
find evidence
we
that
we have
Cleo was
also
involved in the
like
firewall going
superhero with a cape.
Hey, maybe we can fix the
Even that
firewall.
they
I
shouldn't
bet
have
Boti
capes.
can do it. One thing
No
at a
cape.
time.
No capes. If anyone in chat doesn't get that reference, I'm deeply saddened.
Yeah. And here we have
Hey, Boti,
another
let's
sliding
try
challenge.
moving
Like
this
on
block.
all of the
Use
levels, we
your-
have one
what's it
sliding,
called?
and
Hooking.
each one of
Hooking,
them have
yeah,
its
do
own
that
unique
hooking
music,
thing.
and also is rewarded with different trophy. And here from the distance you can see magnetic zipline. It's really thin from here.
Ooh. I'm getting there. I may or may not have fallen immediately getting into the
Let's go!
I love the balance that you've gotten by adding in all these kind of little mini-game aspects to it. It diversifies the gameplay enough that it always keeps it feeling very fresh and very fun.
You're a musical genius, Boti.
Thank you.
Yeah, we kind of
we are
wanted
trying
to,
I mean,
yeah, to
take
keep
a
it like
trophy.
engaging. Also, that keeping in mind, though we also had like in mind like the younger players, which may have not enjoyed if we just like created a really convoluted puzzling that requires you to stay in one place for a really long time, etc. So we try to keep it like refreshing, usually.
Mm.
Let's go. I wanted to show the reset button. We're just doing like nope. Nope.
Oh, I was so close.
Yeah.
No!
Oh!
Suck it to him, Boti.
Talk about, right? I was just thinking to myself, I was like, man, you know what? I've been doing pretty good.
Nice work, Boti.
I've been
They
nailing
won't be
this.
bothering anybody again. Thank goodness for that.
So, you know, it was bound to happen. Don't worry. I'll catch up eventually. Oh.
Oh! I will
This
catch you.
one
I will catch you.
It's sometimes the simplest elements can be
It is.
the most challenging ones.
I'm traumatized.
Come on. I will catch you.
Thank you. Could you
No
sense
problem.
my fear with that jump there?
Yeah. And here is our zipline. Oh. I catch you. Okay. I will move. You can use it. Take your time.
Alright. Oh, I need to hold it. Alright. I promise I know how games work. Oh, this is so fun! What the heck?
Yeah, we can do it together with the next zipline, but I wanted to kind of let you check it for yourself first, because if the two players are using it, it works kind of different.
Okay.
And here we are next to the network adapter, basically. So we are rushing to LAN building, where we have firewall, but that is dangerous. around it. Look, 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 look. I wanted to show it to somebody. Look, look, look.
Oh,
It's just a jellyfish. Oh. Look. Yeah.
that's so
like
cute.
yeah, and yeah, as environmental artist in this game, I will just show you different stuff that I put that nobody will notice, but I place them anyway.
I love it though. Yeah,
But
well,
look,
that's.
look,
I think
here
that's
we
kind
have
of
some
the
fish
special.
people. And here you can have some chips swimming in the pool.
Oh my gosh. That is so cute. It's like you're rewarding the player for exploring the world that you've built by adding in all those little things, you know?
Oh, I didn't collect enough data. I'm playing
Oh,
on
no.
pad. I usually play on my keyboard, so don't mind me if I do some mistakes. If you reach to the top of the building, there is a buff, which if you just hold, it lets you fly for longer and jump higher. So you can have a nice float.
I love the level design of this one. It's just a big old party everywhere. It's incredible.
Oh, they was just drinking energy drink. Like, it's our speed buff, so they are like have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, all of them are really hardworking robots.
Yeah. They're doing their part, okay? It's their job.
No, I feel like this next question I have for you is almost a trick one, because given the theme of the game, I feel like any bug can be considered a feature. But I'm curious about any bugs you've had along in the process that were actually legitimately changed into features as it went along. Like they were just so fun you had to keep them in.
I will
Apart
think
from
about this for a moment. Yeah.
yeah, there were some issues, but like to find a good example that doesn't ruin that something is just a mistake.
Like, even recently we were talking about something like this, but I cannot remember right now.
Yeah, but as you have seen that there is like this interaction between magnetism and like the ground slamming that you can create, make your friend into a moving destructive force. There are some interactions like that that weren't really planned, and just stayed there, because sometimes you catch yourself that you didn't really like thought about every possible combination, as for example like with this slamming into the ground and magnetism, that you didn't really like take into consideration what will happen if you just like use both of them at the same time. And I think if like something like this happens in the game and it creates like a fun interaction, basically, or something that doesn't break the game or is minuscule enough that you can live with it as a game developer, I think they're more than welcome to stay, basically, because
Yeah.
I mean, especially in our game, like it has like this less challenging, more recreative approach, like this more casual approach. It doesn't really like breaks the flow if player can do something additional that you didn't really planned out. It may be a problem for games that are really challenging or competitive, or you are like thinking about creating like the next Counter-Strike where everything has to be precise, etc. But if you are creating a game when you can allow for such stuff to happen, I think I think a lot of them just can stay be like a small secret interactions or like a mechanics that player doesn't even know that they were just a mistake that was there.
Sure, yeah. It can add to the silliness of it almost.
Hey,
Yeah. Especially, of course, that as we have mentioned at the beginning, every bug you see is intentional, as the system is having some problems in this world. So
Yeah,
so it was part of everything was planned,
Just-
of course.
happy little accident. So,
There we go. The bits. I have to give so many now.
that didn't need too much. Really? I thought it
my
was a lot.
cat right now is trying to look for attention. So if he just walks by, don't mind him.
I mean, that's the new host of the show now.
Wait, sorry.
Should I move? Am I in the way?
Oh no, it's fine. Oh.
I feel like this would be hard to pick because everything I've seen so far has been adorable and beautiful. But if you had to pick one thing, what would you say is your favorite model or prop out of the whole game?
Average download speed, 67.2 megabits per
Hmm.
second.
Tough question.
34.5
It is.
Like, I guess I would say Boti, but
4.2%.
to me one of the coolest stuff that we was making, maybe it's not the best in the shape, let's say, and it's so simple. It's our city bots, because with one simple mesh, basically, and it's like a really simple mesh, we was able to populate whole world, and they have also their own styles, variations, etc. Different textures, different shaders, different ads. So basically, to me, one of the like coolest in case of the assets mesh or skeletals, etc. is city bots, because it was how to really easy populate whole world and make it feel alive, with having them everywhere dancing, having their own story, with having like make them kinda unique in all of the levels. Even if they were so simple. But maybe it
Yeah, I
wasn't
mean-
a good answer to the question.
No, I think that's a great answer. There's no right or wrong answer to what is your favorite of anything, I swear.
There is like a list, and if you pick from that list,
Then you're wrong.
but yeah, I think like how Cornelia mentioned, like the possibility of like filling up the world with those living elements by having basically the same game in various combinations. Populate the whole world. It kind of like adds to the charm, and is like is something unique, and it's really nice. Just to say that.
And
For me,
really fun to
I
set them to make them feel kinda and look so goofy all over the place. They are jumping sometimes around. They are angry. They are like want to fix something. They just enjoying the glitches all around.
Yeah, and they are in really weird places.
Yes.
How they get there, it's a mystery. But for me, I just love how our destructibles turned out. I love to destroy the stuff that I have placed on the levels. This is like really satisfying for me, because it provides you with this like additional rewarding feeling, basically. But it's like really simple stuff that you sometimes can destroy things that are not even really like connected to the gameplay. For example, on some levels there are like stuffed toys that are like based upon Boti or based upon city bots, and you can like toss them around, or you can just smack them and they just explode in the dust. And I think I like this element of having a lot of stuff that is destructible, even though they do not really serve a purpose, like gameplay wise. But it's just sometimes nice to have, like, for example, there's like a shop standing in your way, and you smack them, and it turns out you just destroyed it. Or like there is like a lamp that is shining around the place, and you can just smack it. And thanks to the dynamic lighting we have in the game, it also like kind of affects the environment. So it's additionally rewarding.
Yeah.
So.
It is very therapeutic being able to just stack almost everything in my immediate vicinity. And it responds in some way.
It is unfortunately a solution to a lot of Boti's problems, just to smack something, which may be not the like best message, but this is like imaginary world.
I don't know. There's been times where I feel like if you just give your computer like a little pop, it starts working
good
again.
smack. Yeah.
I don't make the rules. This is just.
Of course, just to improve performance.
Yes, exactly.
It may sound weird a little bit after that, but not to worry.
Now man, it's awakening the loot goblin in me, where I just want to find like every single breakable barrel and get all of the currencies possible. And I can see this being a really great game to just sit and enjoy and spend some legitimate time on.
Yeah, I think it's the experience we kind of wanted for people to have, to just like enjoy it like without this like pressure. It's just like a relaxing experience, basically. So something to enjoy, and especially if you can like share it with someone, it just adds upon that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually trying to be helpful that time. I wasn't trying to.
but I was pulling to the second direction, so.
I swear, it was only helpful intent. I promise.
So here, I can shoot, and you can move the platform. I will be prepared with my cannon. Oh, thank you.
Amazing.
Oh, I missed it. One more time. Yeah.
There we go.
Ah, so it was a data capper. No wonder the internet connection was so slow. Why was that installed? Seems like the data's flowing fine now. Let's move on.
I love the reasoning, like the logic, and why things are happening how they are.
Nice. So. Oh, I fell.
I followed you. I followed you straight into the abyss.
I was so close.
I trusted you innately. I was like, all right, this is exactly what I need to do. I think I have another potentially very hard question for you. So I know I asked for favorite model and all that, but what about favorite level overall, if you had to pick one?
So
Me level 5 is the best because it feels like so fresh, and it's the most one connected to technical side
Hmm.
of the computer. It's also graphic card city, so it's my field. So and there is a lot of city board artists around this place, and graffiti and stuff like this. And yeah, but it also at the same time feel the most like a hard surface technical element from the computer. Because I love all of the levels, of course, the same, but
They
course.
this
cannot
one is
hear
like
you.
my baby.
For
Yeah, I know
me,
it's
I
an
think
unfair
if-
question, but
to choose your favorite level, yeah, it's really
Yeah.
tough question. Like they can like get offended at other levels, but I think for me, I think we have managed to like the game is basically separated into 3 biomes. Like the first biome is happening around the areas that are inspired by motherboards, processors, RAMs, etc., or like the Ethernet card. So the stuff you are basically finding near your motherboard. The second one is, as Konya have mentioned, inspired by graphic cards. So it vastly differs in look. And the third biome, the last one, is like the last section. It's the section that happens in the power supply unit. And I think I like the most how we kind of managed to different those biomes, and I especially like the feeling that we have managed to get in this last biome. Those are 2 levels, like the 7 and 8. They kind of like because it's going to like the culmination of the story, etc., etc. They have this vibe of being more dangerous than like the previous ones. There is electricity everywhere. It is way more abstract than like levels from 1 to 6, which are like more inspired by like kind of like more city-like, so to speak. But that one, the last ones are like kind of floating in the electrical storm, etc. It has like a different feeling, but it kind of really speaks to me how this is like, this is this dangerous place. You are at the end of this journey, and you are now in a place that is really dangerous. And I think like the feeling that we have managed to grasp there is like top notch for me.
yeah, absolutely. It does get progressively intenser, I must say.
I mean, the challenges remain like pretty doable, like, so to speak. I know that's the best word, but I cannot like find the proper one. But like we kind of wanted to have the like you still need the pacing on the levels. Like you need to have these moments that are like more intense, more like grinder in scale than just like exploring and roaming around. So there are places that game gets intensified, but usually it remains like approachable, and you can always, if you fail, you can always try again. So so it remains this experience that is pleasant instead of like frustrating.
Right, yeah. It's very much a feel-good game. Like, even if you fall, it doesn't feel like... I don't feel like I'm getting punished like you can in some platformers, where if I fall, I don't lose all of my progress and go all the way back to the beginning of the level and stuff like that. And if your friend progresses, then you can eventually progress with them, sort of thing. So I think those in particular make it feel, like you were saying, not frustrating, but just a pleasant, enjoyable experience.
Yeah, that was like this feeling that we were aiming for, and we hope that we have managed to represent in the game. That even if you fail, of course you have a little setback, but it's not something that punishes you extremely and like causes a lot of like frustration that you, oh no, I have failed, now I have to do 20 minutes walk back through the area I have already cleared, or something.
We wanted to just make it fun. More fun than frustrating.
Yes, and that definitely does come across. Were there any? Was that something that you were constantly testing while you were developing it? Of like, you knew you wanted it to have a certain challenge cap, and so you had to. How did you keep it balanced around that range?
Our security should block installing a
So
data capper.
like
That explains why
as we were
some
like
down the firewall.
And it
iterating
happened shortly
levels,
after Colonel
basically,
went missing.
mostly we had our mechanics that by themselves in their like
We saw
main
exactly
design,
the
so
same
to
stuff
speak,
at Colonel's place.
have this
Then
aspect
it's
of it
possible this
being
was Colonel's security.
like
Something
forgiving,
fishy was going
etc.
on.
in mind.
Say Colonel is
So
our
when
prime
we are
suspect.
using those mechanics on the
So,
levels,
now,
we
Well,
try to
I also discovered
iterate it
something
enough
interesting.
so we don't, for
Colonel has been
example,
sending messages to the
create
graphics
like a
card
lot of
and the receiver
pain
circuit.
points, so to speak, what that can break that feeling of frustration. So it requires some of the iterations, but if your core mechanics have that in mind, that this has to be not frustrating experience, it makes it way easier and doesn't require like unlimited, like astonishing amount of iteration, but they still need to happen, so you have to like verify. We also did some internal testing, for example, of like some younger members of the family, or sometimes like the older members of the family who don't play games, etc., to test out if the things we are thinking about are really are really, for example, as approachable as we think they are. Because sometimes you, for you, especially if you are developing the game and playing it constantly, everything is easy, probably. But you have to keep in mind that it's nice to have this additional sets of tests. That's what you try to do with people who maybe don't play a lot of video games, and you are kind of like you also wanted for them to have good experience. So we did some iterations and then some like tests, basically on various types of players that can happen, to verify our like assumptions and creations.
Yeah. Well, this is just such a pleasant game. Like, I can't express enough how warm and fuzzy and happy I feel right now just going through and playing this, between like the gameplay itself, all of the colors, the style, everything about it is a very welcoming and friendly game, and it is truly just a pleasant experience to play it. I feel like this is probably a good spot here, since we just finished the 3rd level. I want to make sure that everyone watching, if they're interested, they still get to go in and experience some of the other levels for themselves. Find some of those other secrets that you were talking about, try to figure it out on their own. I know I'm going to be now. I'm going to be going through each level, just absolutely searching every single corner, trying to find every little secret hidden in there. But this was such a pleasant game. So for anyone who is watching who might be interested in either getting it for themselves or as a gift for someone else, where can they do so?
So currently the game is out on Steam, because we are still a small team, so we currently have released the game on Steam. We will be coming to Epic Game Store and GOG later on during the year, and with the support of our publisher, we will be pushing the game to console, but that will happen in the next year, 2024. So there is still some time to do so, but if someone wants to try out the game for themselves, currently it's available on the Steam.
Awesome. All right. Got the link for that posted in chat there for anyone who's interested. It is so much fun. And it looks like you also have a bit of a sale going on today too, right?
Yes,
there is
20% sale.
there is like a 20% release sale, so it's a great opportunity to get it now, basically, until
Yeah.
it ends for last amount. Uh, so so yeah, so everyone can test it out themselves.
Awesome. All right. Well, with that, I have, I think, one final question for the both of you. And then I will release you since I've already kept you for several hours today. But if you have any final advice that you would like to give other developers through this process, and it doesn't have to just be MegaJam specific either, just in general, anything that you've learned along this journey of making a game and now getting it through launch, actually getting it out there, what's something that you would like for other developers to know?
I think it's cool if they test the game as fast as possible on the friends, on the loved ones, and on different types of people, etc. Not only play themselves, because many times something that you may think it's fun, probably it is, but some people may find it like kinda disturbing, annoying, etc. So it's really nice to like check out with other people how they feel, what they feel about this.
Yeah, I think it's especially important, like for the smaller developers or like even like the solo developers, like to remember to just keep out the testing your, even not like the game itself for like bugs or whatever, but like to verifying your ideas, that like kind of like fact checking with them with like other people, so you get these different points of views. And I think like game jams, for example, are like a great opportunity to also like test your ideas, and because you can bring your idea quickly into like fruition, like to a full project, and have it tested out not only by like the jury or whatnot, however the game jam, for example, is organized, but also usually game jams have a lot of great community. There is a lot of game developers who check what other people created, comment on it, give feedback, etc. So game jams are also like a great place to learn how to like verify your ideas, and how to like handle feedback, because it's also like a skill you get to have to get. But yeah, like testing out your ideas, if they are really as cool as you think they are, it's like really important.
And also to don't be afraid to test some new features, like for example, new light settings like ray tracing, lumen, or other features from the Unreal, like Niagara or something, because like it doesn't like need a lot of years of experience. It doesn't need a lot of time for this, basically. Of course, to master it, it's required, but to start to work on it, it's really easy. So just don't be afraid and to start work on something.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Well, thank you both so much for coming on today. This was such a pleasure, genuinely. The game is absolutely beautiful and wonderful, and congratulations again on a successful launch today. That is a huge milestone for anybody, but especially for being able to turn a jam demo into a full-fledged project. It's incredible, and I can't give enough of a glowing review. I think what you've done here is amazing, and I can't wait to see what else you do with it in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Of course. And then also thank you everyone who came to watch the show today as well. It wouldn't be what it is without you and you being here and learning and being part of this journey we all have as developers of just trying to improve over time. So thank you for being here and taking part and hopefully enjoying the show today. If you missed any part of it, don't worry. We post all of our streams in video format that can be viewed on demand on both our Twitch and YouTube channel at Unreal Engine. You can also keep up with us on all of our socials at Unreal Engine for the latest news, news, updates, all that good stuff. And if you haven't already, please come join us over on our forums on dev.epicgames.com/community. You can meet other like-minded developers there. There's lots of tutorials. There's basically any resource you could possibly need as a developer, either new or experienced with the Unreal Engine, available to you there. So again, if you haven't already, go check that out. Come hang out. It's a good time, I promise. And then other than that, we'll be back again next week for our next episode of Inside Unreal, and we'll see y'all then. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. See ya.
Thank you. Bye.